I've worked with many people who are dealing with addictions and wanted to get past them. Addictions can include cigarette smoking, alcohol, drug use, overeating or other food disorders, sexual disorders. It can include a lot of different things. So you need to decide whether you have an addiction that you want to get past. We have several videos on this site that will give you the specifics about different kinds of addictions. But in this video, I just want to talk about some general ideas that will help you get past or release an addiction in general. And I learned about this a long time ago, before I was really even involved in any of the spiritual and personal growth work that I'm doing. But at the time I was a smoker, and I smoked a couple of packs a day in my 20s, and it wasn't helping my health at all. So I was very motivated to quit, and I kept trying to quit, but nothing seemed to work. I even started meditating, in part because I had heard that when people started meditation, that they were able to give up smoking more easily. So I thought, well, that's something I can do as well. But I didn't find that to be true, at least initially. What happened was one day I was at a meditation course, and as usual, I had left my cigarettes at home, fully intending to quit, and partway through the weekend, I just couldn't deal with it anymore. I went to my husband at the time and said, "Can I have a cigarette?" And of course, he was quite happy to loan me one, give me one. And then I just went into a really deep place within myself where I felt very frustrated, very upset, but I finally cried and said, I just need to be a smoker. That's what I'm doing. I'm smoking. What I didn't realize at the time is I was letting go of the pressure and the criticism and the guilt. Guess what happened? I smoked a few more cigarettes and then I quit, almost miraculously and much more easily than I had ever anticipated. So the first thing you need to do when you do have an addiction that you're wanting to release is you need to stop criticizing yourself and stop feeling guilty. You've done that over and over and over again, and it hasn't helped you quit, has it? Hasn't helped you stop the addiction, has it? Now, in many cases, you also may need some professional help. People who are using drugs or been alcoholic or, have an eating disorder, very often professional help is very much an important part of your recovery. But also an important part of your recovery is to stop the criticism. So even when you find yourself being critical, you want to stop and say, no, I don't need to criticize myself anymore. A Course in Miracles tells us that guilt actually holds the behavior. So if you're trying to stop something, but you're also feeling guilty at the same time, you're at odds with yourself, and that guilt will hold the behavior. So forgive yourself. You were doing the best that you could at the time, and you still are. For some reason, that addiction was meeting a need of some kind that helped you deal with circumstances in your life, but now you don't want it anymore. So stop feeling guilty. Be willing to love and approve of yourself, even with the addiction. And that's when it can just release, because you're not judging yourself anymore. On another video on this site, Rick's going to talk about Emotional Freedom Technique, EFT, and how to use that more completely. But something that you can do very simply with EFT right at this moment is called the karate chop. And you just tap on the outer part of your hand like this, and you say, even though I have an addiction to whatever it is, I completely and deeply love and approve of myself. Even though I have an addiction, I completely love and approve of myself. And do that as many times as you need to really begin to start feeling like you are forgiving yourself, you're letting it go, you're not feeling guilty anymore. You can also use meditation and use visualization to help you release the addiction even more. So completely love and approve of yourself. Check out the other videos on this site that are maybe more specific to the one that you're dealing with, and remember to love yourself.